My name is Erin. Thank you so much for joining me today for a brief introduction to yoga. So I'm just going to be talking here and telling you a little bit about yoga and maybe answering some questions you might have. The first question you might have is yoga for me? And I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. Yoga is for everybody. To start off with, I'll just kind of tell you a little bit about myself. I have been practicing yoga since, I don't know, 2003 or 2004, somewhere in there. I started out with a hot yoga class and I fell in love, and it's been an incredible journey since that time. I got certified to be a yoga teacher in 2008, and I've been teaching ever since then. I teach hatha yoga with an emphasis on vinyasa, which is a flowing style yoga. That said, I like lots of different kinds of yoga, and it's really important to find the yoga that's right for you. So to start off with, just a little background about yoga. Yoga is an ancient practice from India and has, since made the journey, the very, very long journey to the West. Yoga as we know it today is a little bit different than when it originated back in India. One thing that I'd like to emphasize is that yoga, as we oftentimes think of it without knowing a lot, is not just asana, which are the postures that you might think of. When you think of yoga, you might think of someone holding a warrior two. Yoga is so much bigger than that. If you start a yoga practice, I encourage you to explore the different parts of yoga. That said, I am going to be talking about asana more than anything, since we're going to actually do a physical practice here on our mats. The word yoga actually translates in Sanskrit to yoke and or unite, but it actually means yoke. So what makes yoga unique from other physical disciplines, other sports, other activities, is that yoga's purpose is to unite the mind, the body, and the breath. So that's one thing that makes it unique and amazing. And as you start to practice yoga, you'll feel the difference between doing a yoga practice and maybe doing a CrossFit practice or a running practice or whatever else you do physically. So yoga can stand alone, obviously, or you can have yoga as an adjunct to your other sports athletic endeavors. So within the asana practice itself, there are lots of different styles. So I encourage you to search for the style that's right for you. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time here telling you about the different styles of yoga, but there are quite a few. There's Bikram yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Iyengar yoga, and the list goes on. And all of these different styles of yoga have different purposes and different practices, and they work for different people. So I encourage you to find your own style. And once you find your style, I also encourage you to explore and find different teachers. So not every style and not every teacher is going to work for every student. So yoga is a practice of self-discovery and it's a journey. So be open to the journey, whatever that means for you. So just a little information about what you need for your practice. So what you need is basically not much. You can do yoga anywhere. You do not need a mat. You do not need anything else. You do not need special clothing. However, these things are here to aid you and help you if you so choose. So I encourage you to get a sticky mat for yoga. There are lots of different kinds of mats on the market. So again, you're going to have to find the one that works for you. Because I'm a yoga teacher and I practice a lot, I actually have several different mats for several different purposes. This is not necessary, but you might want to search for a mat that, if you do hot yoga, is absorbent, like the mat I'm sitting on here today. I personally like eco-friendly mats, and I like rubber mats. Rubber mats are really sticky. You are going to find a different cushioning, a different thickness that works for you. Some people prefer a very thin mat. Some people prefer a nice thick cushioned mat. If you have issues with your wrists or your knees, it's a personal preference. And it's great to go to a mat and go to a studio and borrow a mat. But if you really get into your practice, I encourage you to get your own mat, because your mat, as you'll find, becomes, for lack of a better word, sacred. That might be a little dramatic, but people really get attached to their mats because it's a special space. That when I come to my mat, I know that this is my space and my time, and I honor it and I cherish it. And so choose a mat wisely. Take your time, do some research, ask other people, and pick a color that works for you, because you look at your mat a lot. So, other props that can help you in your practice or aid you in your practice but are not necessary are yoga strap. Okay, so a strap can help us get into some postures, into some binds. If you don't have a strap though, and have something at home like a belt or even like a dog leash or whatever, it doesn't have to be a yoga strap. Okay, so a yoga strap has different colors, different thicknesses, different buckles, but it'll usually have a buckle. So you can make loops in your strap. Yoga strap. A foam block is a great prop. So this is just one example. Again, there are blocks of different shapes, sizes, colors, and materials. So this is a thin foam block. You can get wood blocks as well. If you purchase a block and make that effort and want to spend the money, I recommend having 2 blocks, okay? But one works great. If you don't have blocks and you have a home practice, you can use soup cans or something else. A yoga towel if you practice hot yoga. A yoga towel is just, it's absorbent. It has a little sticky back, so it sticks to your mat. And when you start sweating and you don't have an absorbent mat, this will collect your sweat and keep you from sliding around, because a sticky mat that's wet is really slippery and you don't want that. That said, you don't need a special towel. You can use a bath towel. The nice thing about a yoga towel is they're made to match the length and size of a mat. All right. 2 props that I don't have with me are a yoga blanket, and a blanket is a nice prop for restorative yoga. And sometimes we use the blanket, in Shavasana just to cover us and blanket us, but we can also use it as a prop to help support us in postures. We can sit on a blanket to prop up our hips. And then finally a bolster, which looks like a giant pillow. And again, bolsters come in different shapes and sizes, and they aid us mostly in restorative yoga. So that's a little background about your yoga equipment. Oh, and last but not least is yoga clothing. You don't need to go out and spend a ton of money on yoga clothes. I have a variety of yoga clothes since I teach yoga, but what you really want to have at your fingertips are a nice tight fitting pant. You don't want them obviously too tight so they're uncomfortable, but you want them tight enough so they are not in your way. And that's why we have fitted clothing, so it doesn't bunch up or get hooked on our hands or elbows or whatever. A tight fitting top as well, same deal. You can wear shorts. Again, you don't want them to be too loose so they bunch up. And oh yes, and I recommend that you come to your yoga mat without jewelry on. I have a watch on right now, but just so it doesn't get in your way. I also recommend that when you start your practice, you're not wearing lotions or perfumes. They can be distracting and slippery. So if you do wear yoga shorts and you are in a sweaty practice and get wet, and especially with lotion on, you'll just slip and slide all over your body. So as far as what I'm going to be posting here online is going to be a series that's going to consist of a foundation for a physical yoga practice. So we're going to do a number of shorter classes that are going to introduce you to all the various aspects of a yoga practice, most of which you would see in a yoga class. For example, a warm-up, sun salutations, standing poses, balancing poses, spine strengthening poses, back bending poses, deep-seated stretches, shavasana, and more. So that's just kind of a general overview of what I'm going to be posting. to introduce you to a asana, a physical yoga practice. Even if we just practice asana, you're going to find the benefits are amazing. So when we're focused on our breath, we're present in our body, and really present in our space, amazing things can happen, even if you're not thinking about it or you don't even know it's happening. Yoga is a true path of self-discovery and transformation if you're open and willing. So whatever brings you to your yoga mat, if you're recovering from an injury or an illness, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to gain strength, to gain flexibility, there's lots of reasons that we come to our yoga mat. It doesn't matter what your reason is, you'll still get all the benefits, whether you know it or not. So be open to practicing yoga. I hope you'll join me for my introductory series. I already have posted one of the classes online, but there will be many more to come. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I would love to connect. Thank you so much. Bring your hands to your heart. Today as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. Namaste.